Wow, that was genuinely awful. That was terrible. I don't know what to say about that loss. The Toronto Maple Leafs lose officially 3-1 to the Florida Panthers in a game that you could call a test game, a measuring stick game, whatever you want to call it at this point. They lost. And, you know, the Florida Panthers get a lot of guys back from injury, a couple guys that the Leafs didn't see last time that they played in Toronto. And the Leafs did not have much. I mean, the only two guys that really showed up were maybe John Tavares and certainly Joe Savol. Another good game from Joe Savol. But hello, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Nice to see some familiar faces in the chat. Welcome back, Jay. Hello, Nick. A couple others as well. Crankbait. Nice to see you as well. And a few others in the chat as well. Obviously, Nick not here tonight, but he will be back tomorrow for our stream. And, of course, video tomorrow. Keeping up to date with everything Toronto Maple Leafs in our daily uploads, but nice to see Jim as well. Leafs have won 5 in a row, and the Panthers got a player boost and have lost 5. Something had to give. That's kind of how I feel about it tonight. Yes, I kicked off the stream by saying genuinely terrible. I don't know what that was, but honestly, the whole day today I was thinking I would not be mad if the Leafs lost this game, right? And I usually don't like to think that way, especially with the Leafs, and I like to think that you're always in the game, and even if you're down by a couple goals, right? I like to stay optimistic personally, but especially with the Leafs, even though they don't really give us a reason to do that. But I was thinking I wouldn't be mad if they lost this game, because then Florida goes a couple more points up on the Ottawa Senators. I am actually looking forward to, a lot of people have changed my mind. I am kind of looking forward to a Battle of Ontario first round. I think that would be cool. And the Senators don't really have that much playoff experience. So, again, I'm not wishing for any matchup specifically. I do think that Tampa Bay would probably be a better matchup for the Leafs based on, the past. But they are a little bit of a different team at this point. So, something to keep in mind. But not a great game. Not a great game that this one was. What is the confidence level after tonight? I want to see it in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, for the Leafs heading into the playoffs this year. I would like to see that. I'll bring up here the box score from tonight as well. Zeros across the board except for John Tavares. There's a couple -1s on the board too for that second line. A lot of blocked shots tonight. I will say that. That was kind of nice to see, but not a lot of shots on the board. Joseph Woll, I thought he had another great game. He's stopping 33 of 35 shots. Not bad at all. Of course, Florida won 3-1, but one of them was in the empty net there. Mitch Marner playing goalie, that was crazy. But again, Jim is feeling an 8. I think that's Riley at -2 as well. I wouldn't say, I don't think you can pin this game on one player. I think Florida got a boost because of, Jim nailed it on the head there. They got a couple players back. They're feeling good about themselves. They're playing at home. They've lost a lot of games recently. Like, something has to give. Good teams like that don't lose that many games in a row and don't continue to lose like that. Like I said it a couple streams ago, like, I don't think that this was going to stay this way for the Florida Panthers. Like, they were going to turn it around at some point. So, welcome in, Jose. What's going on? 7.5 from Nick as well. We got an 8 from Jose. I'm feeling pretty confident, I have to say. Like, I haven't lost complete hope or anything, and I don't think a game like this, like, changes my mindset on the playoffs either. So, I think that, they should be fine, right? Like, we'll see what they do in the playoffs and who they end up playing, because again, that's all up in the air still. The whole Atlantic Division at this point, honestly, with about 5 games ish, depending on the team left to go in the season, everything is still up in the air. So it's going to be a crazy finish to the season. Looks like Montreal is actually going to make the playoffs too, which is pretty crazy considering everything that's happened so far this year. But I'm still feeling pretty confident. But yeah, 7-8 from Crankbait. I have to agree. I'm still feeling very confident. I don't think this game, I'm honestly, like, I've been mad about previous losses, and the Leafs have been really hot recently. They've won 5 in a row, like Jim mentioned. They also have won, I think it was 10 of 13 coming into this one, something like that, close to that. So I'm not too mad about this loss because you're not losing to Nashville or San Jose in a shootout. So I'm not as mad. But, if you are, please let me know in the chat, because I want to hear from you guys. This is a place to air your frustrations sometimes. But we're going to keep this one short tonight too, I think, because obviously it's a loss. Not feeling great. Wasn't a great game. Not much to dissect. I mean, Tavares' goal was sick. Marner's shot, that's pretty much it. I mean, the Panthers didn't even let up that much pressure. The Leafs had no sustained pressure there for, at all the entire game. So we will keep this one short. But tomorrow, they play the Tampa Bay Lightning. A couple back-to-backs this week, too. They play the Montreal Canadiens. That's going to be absolutely electric on Saturday. And then Sunday they play as well the dreaded second half of a back-to-back in Carolina. For some reason, that always happens. So, and on a Sunday, too. I don't understand the scheduling, but I think they view Tampa Bay Lightning as the more critical game. They're closer to them in the standings. I think that could be true. The body language on a couple guys tonight suggests who cares, right? And I that's not a good thing. But for this game specifically, I think they kind of want to play Ottawa. Like, I don't know. You try not to let that stuff seep in, but it's there. It's there. And these guys think about it, right? So I'm sure they're not mad that Florida got 2 points here. Bright sides, Leafs still up 4 on Florida and 2 on Tampa Bay with games in hand. Montreal lost, Ottawa lost, and JT played great and Woll played great as well. I totally agree. I think Woll had a solid game. I still think it's Stolarz. Let me know in the chat who you think is going to start the playoffs. I think it's Stolarz. Big Joseph Woll fan myself, right? Been saying it all year on the channel. I was leaning towards Woll for majority of the year. If you go back and watch the videos and streams and stuff like that, logically, I think it's Stolarz, but let me know in the chat who you think it is, and we'll see. We'll see who they end up picking and what happens down the stretch. I do think, obviously, Stolarz plays tomorrow, and then I wonder who gets Montreal on Saturday. That's going to be interesting to watch, too, so we'll see. Yeah, Stolarz pretty much across the board from everyone. It's going to be Stolarz. Got to beat Tampa Bay tomorrow. That's a huge game. It is a huge game. If you lose to Tampa Bay, now you're tied, right? So got to win that game tomorrow, second half of a back-to-back. They didn't perform well tonight. We'll see what they do. Riley's been disappointing all season. I do agree with that from William. I think Robertson didn't look great tonight. Noticed a couple shifts. I was like, oh boy, I don't know how I'm going to defend this, because I was saying it on the last stream, the Robertson fan club. I am the president. You all know I am the president of the Robertson fan club, but not a great showing from him tonight. And it's pretty crazy, because you'd think like some of these guys with the injuries they have, like David Kampf out, for example, and the lineup shifting a little bit, and Pacioretty's coming back. Like, he is waiting. He is salivating, waiting for the playoffs to start to get back in the lineup. And I feel like Berube's waiting to put him back in the lineup too. Why not take advantage of these opportunities? I don't know. Some of these guys, Robertson had a great game against Columbus. That's Columbus. What are you going to do against a more physical team? And this game was actually pretty underratedly like physical. Like, there was a little bit of, a little bit of that stuff after the whistles that I like to see. So getting ready for playoffs. Everyone's ready to wrap up here. But yeah, I think Stolarz too. That's from Dan. Nick says, yeah, Stolarz. Team just looks more confident in front of him. I do agree. And I think I've said it time and time again that like the confidence level of your team and how you play goes through your goaltender. So even if your goaltender's making saves like Woll did tonight, the way that he makes them, if he's scrambling the whole time, your team's going to play with that anxiety, right? And you're not going to find success that way. So everyone's got to settle down a little bit. And I think that they play way more, poise in front of Stolarz. That's been noticeable so far this year. But it's nice to see John Tavares having a insane season. Like, this is the best season he's had since the first season he was a Toronto Maple Leaf. Ironically enough, both times wearing an A on his jersey. Interesting. But he's been fantastic this season. And again, he scored 47 goals in his first year as a Leaf. Not going to get that this year. But the fact, if you were to tell me John Tavares was going to score almost 40 goals in the last year of this contract, he's lived up to the expectation the whole time, in my eyes. He's been absolutely fantastic. Should bench Robo to guarantee a pair in the next game. Yeah. No, honestly, like, he's probably going to play tomorrow. Or you know what? Bench him tomorrow, because then he's going to go off against Montreal, and he's done that before. So would love to see that. That'd be fantastic. Why is Riley still on the top 4? D pairing is beyond me all season. If it was anyone else, he'd be dropped at third pairing or bench. If it was anyone else, he would be benched, but it's because of who he is and what he means to the team and the fact that he's been here and all that. It's more off-ice stuff as well. I do believe that he's still in there. And where else do you put him at this point? You can't put OEL up there with Carlo. Like, some of the pairings just don't work, and he's got to figure it out. This is the problem. Like, it's not like move him down and then your problem's solved, move somebody back up and like shift the pairings around. Like, he's got to get going here. He can't continue to play like this. And if it does, then might find some trouble in the playoffs. But does Patches get into any games before the playoffs? No, Crankbait. I don't believe so, and it's not his fault. It has to do with the salary cap. Somebody would have to go on LTIR, which at this point makes no sense, unless they're like legitimately injured, of course. But makes no sense because the playoffs start in a week and a half, which is crazy. Can you guys believe a week and a half? Like, next Saturday, it's game one. Game one of the playoffs already is here, and it's what we've been waiting all season for. So, no, I don't think Pacioretty gets in before the playoffs, but I do think Pacioretty gets into game one. I would put money on that. Like, this is a Darius guarantee right here on stream for all of you who are in here. If you're in here in game one of the playoffs, if you're in here in a stream right before the season ends, I'm guaranteeing Pacioretty is going to be in the game one lineup. But before that, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But Leafs Jets in the finals, what do you say? I think that'd be fantastic. That would be heated. Now, I don't think that the Jets make it that far. But, well, the Leafs, we'll see. We'll see if they make it to round 2. JT's best season in a year, in a last year of contract. That's when, most people, perform. We're seeing it with Mitch Marner as well. Thought it would be a throwaway year. Most guys that get to this age, you're thinking like, they're not going to live up to their contract the last 2 years-ish of the contract. And he really has. He really has. Like, he's been fantastic. One of the most, it's crazy to think, like, if he was on any other team, he would be, like, the guy. But he's, like, sheltered behind, like, 3 guys here who are, in the spotlight more so. So he's been fantastic. He's been awesome this year. And I've always been a big John Tavares guy. And it's kind of like, last season it was a down year, and you're like, maybe it's, he's not going to finish his contract strong, but he certainly has. And from Jimmy, they couldn't get through the neutral zone and shots on net. I don't know where their mentality is at in big games. I don't either, but I'm not, honestly, I have to say, like, if they lost last week against the Florida Panthers with the lineup that they had, I would have been mad, but they went in there, they got the job done, and everything was fine. I honestly, because of everything that's, the circumstances with the standings and all that, I'm not even mad about this loss. I really, like, I'm not here and mad. Like, let's talk about the playoffs. Let's talk about some stuff, that they can build off of here. So, not even too mad about this game, but you have to question it sometimes. And the thing for me is, like, where we are with Mitch Marner and what's going to happen this summer, John Tavares, contract's up, right? I'm not mad. We're heading into this playoffs. The guys on the team have said, we have to get this done. This is the thing, that, these are the things we have to do. Either do it or there's going to be change. So that's where I'm at with my mentality, where I'm like, they're either going to go out and play great and do everything that they said they were going to do, and we're going to cheer them on, and I love it. And, I've been critical of Mitch Marner. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf. I hope he does fantastic. I hope they win the Stanley Cup. I hope he wins the Stanley Cup, right? But they either do that or there's change, finally. So I'm happy either way at this point. So I'm just waiting for the playoffs to start, to be honest with you. But Matthews, William, Marner were very quiet. Power play was awful. That's another thing. That's a good point, Gentlemen's Club. Power play was awful tonight. That's something that you got to get under control. And I was thinking before the game today, I'm like, the power play has been really good, and I feel really confident heading into the playoffs this year because special teams, was the entire reason the Leafs lost to Boston last year. That was the only reason, and maybe Samsonov a little bit, right? But it's been good recently. I was feeling pretty confident. Not great tonight, and I think that's a little concerning. Hopefully they can, these things happen. Hopefully they can get back on track here. But Patches over Robo or Holmberg in game 1, absolutely, it's going to be over. Well, if you're choosing one, personally, it's Holmberg, right? Like, he's coming out. So, at least in my mind. But, everyone's open to their opinion, of course. But Florida's defense is good. They have a great system there. They're fantastic. So, I have to give credit where credit's due. But if they were to, if the Leafs were to play them in the playoffs, 0 shots on goal, Matthews and Marner until the end. Past playoffs PTSD, maybe a little bit, but I think that Matthews specifically, I think he's putting more attention to detail in his defensive game. So when games are a little bit tighter like this, and I don't like to use this excuse because when you look at the other side of the ice, those guys were getting shots on goal and making plays and stuff, right? But I think he's putting too much attention to detail. Not too much. You always want to, especially in the playoffs, to the defensive game and breaking pucks out and making sure he's taking care of his own zone, which at the end of the day, it was a pretty close game. It's 2-1 with the empty netter, right? But your goaltender can't keep you in every single game, which is something I never thought I would say for the Toronto Maple Leafs in this era. So that's new. But they did not start on time either, which is a problem. They have been, which has been good, but never like to not see that. Like to get, if you're not going to score first, like to get out of the first period without any goals against, but that is what that is. Matthews and Marner 2nd and 4th on the impact score chart somehow. I think it's because of the way that they defend. Again, I think it was a tighter game. So, and I'm sure there was a lot of negative impact in there as well. But again, we'll see what they do down the stretch here in the next couple of games and into the playoffs. No excuses. They didn't bring it. You're right. They absolutely. They just weren't good tonight. And you hope, this is the thing, in losses, you hope that good teams perform well, and you were just bested, right? Because that's going to happen sometimes. But not the case tonight. They were horrible, but bad games, so now they have to win tomorrow. They absolutely have to win tomorrow. Never like to put yourselves in this position, right? You don't like to, have to force yourself, into a must-win situation tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is maybe a better look for you guys of the box score here. We have some interesting time on ices, I think. Like Bobby McMahon only playing 14 minutes tonight. That's interesting. I think there was a lot of like special teams play as well tonight. So something to keep an eye on there. Philippe Meyer only played 12 minutes, so some of the other defensemen are playing a lot more. That's a problem. Gonna need Jake McKay back, and that's a problem in the playoffs too, because if these guys are not going to play if there's injuries, like you're going to run into injury problems down the road because these guys are playing too much. Some of these guys, right? Like Morgan Riley and Brandon Carlo. Brandon Carlo also not great on the goal against out there again with Morgan Riley. So not great, but again, one game. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But again, some block shots tonight. I think that was good. Loved Simone Benoit's interview in the second intermission stuff. So love to see that. He's always a good quote. What's up, Prophet? Nice to see you tonight, guys. Tonight sucked, but we won like 4 in a row. Come on. Yeah, like this is not doom and gloom here. This is not doom and gloom. It was a horrible game. Awful performance. We can call it what it is. But let's not say like they're not going to win a round and all this stuff now and like, they're going to fall apart, sell the team, whatever, right? Like let's not go down that route. They just won 5 in a row, and I think they won 10 of their last 13 or something like that. 2 of those losses to teams that are in like the bottom 3 of the whole league, but still, nonetheless. But yeah, it's not doom and gloom. We're going to wrap up here in a bit. Any final thoughts here? Going to keep it a short one tonight. Nick will be back tomorrow. We'll do some call-ins. We'll have some fun with it. Hopefully it's a Leafs win tomorrow, but we'll have some fun with it tomorrow. Jim with the $10 donation, sending positive vibes to Leafs Nation. Tomorrow will be yet another must-win. Every game, Jim, is a must-win at this point. I'm going to get you the super chat here. Every game is the biggest game of the season. You know what the biggest game of the season is? The next game. So that is tomorrow. That is tomorrow. Biggest game of the season coming up here tomorrow, and they got to win it. And honestly, like if you don't win it, you're tied with Tampa. Create some complications. But Jim, your support has been unbelievable all season long. So thank you for the $10 donation. Really appreciate it. And the gifted subs that you always give people. Those are fantastic as well. Love spreading the wealth. Love that even more sometimes. So if we lose bad tomorrow too, then we can start to get worried. Maybe. But tomorrow's a new day. I don't want to think about that. They'll be fine. I think they're gonna bounce back tomorrow. Hopefully. We'll see what the performance looks like you can really tell with the Leafs. That's the one thing. Like I can't really tell with some other teams because I don't really watch them as much. But with the Leafs, in the first like 3.5 minutes, I know what type of a night this is going to be, and that I think is impressive for a team to do. Either maybe it's me just being able to read the team, I don't know, or the team themselves just being like, hey guys, we're 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes into this game. Here's what we can offer tonight. I don't know what's more impressive, but on that good steal from Mitch, Matthews could have tied it. Yes, and Nyes with the rebound after that. And that's the type of plays you want to create in the playoffs too. I thought that was a great play. Kick it over to Matthews. He gets the shot. There's a rebound there. Matthew Nyes is in a good position to get that rebound, and Bobrovsky comes up big. I mean, he's that goaltender, right? He is that guy. He's won a Stanley Cup at this point. So we'll see. So hopefully don't have to play the Florida Panthers in the playoffs. But if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? At this point. So any final thoughts, anybody? We are going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. How we looking? How we feeling for tomorrow night? I think that they're going to bounce back. I think it's going to be a better performance. It should be another good game. They always play Tampa very well, especially since they won that playoff series a couple of years ago. Like minimal times that they've lost to Tampa or even looked really bad or out of place against Tampa since then. So we'll see how that game goes. And then I think this Saturday, we're going to break it down on stream tomorrow, but this upcoming Saturday, playing the Montreal Canadiens, that should be a very fun game as well, because Montreal is absolutely rolling. Pretty sure they're winning right now, or they've already won at this point. So they're going to make the playoffs as well. There is a world where the Leafs end up playing the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs. I don't think it happens. I don't think Montreal gets out of the first round. But yeah, the effort just wasn't there tonight. But think about it. They're on top, first place, playoffs in sight. I really think this year is going to be a different story for us. I just want to see what they look like in the playoffs. They have a couple guys that I think can instigate. That's been a problem in the past to me. So what's going on, Hattrick HQ? Welcome to the chat. But I think that's been a problem in the playoffs before, not instigating. So I think that they have a couple on the team, and we'll see what they do. And I'm excited for the playoffs one way or another, right? Because we all should be. Let's see what they do. Let's believe in them. And then, I feel very calm this year because there's going to be change if things don't change on the ice, right? Fantastic. That's awesome. That's what a lot of people have been calling for, at least. I don't want to, speak for anybody, but, or try not to, but the effort will be there tomorrow, I hope. I think they're saving themselves for Tampa Bay. I don't know. I think Florida played a good game. They got a little bit of a boost with players back, but yeah. Montreal bounces Washington first round upset. I'm calling it. Wow. Big call out from Jim there. Montreal, just like 2010, I think Washington won the President's Trophy, which I'm not sure they're in the mix right now for the President's Trophy. But 2010, the same thing happened. Washington won the President's Trophy. Montreal bounced them in the first round. Then they bounced the Pittsburgh Penguins, the defending Stanley Cup champions, in the second round. That was a pretty crazy playoff year. I think seeds 7 and 8, which were Philly and Montreal, were in the conference final that year, and then Philly ended up going to the Stanley Cup final against Chicago. But that was a pretty crazy year. But good shout. History repeats itself. We'll see what happens. But aside from tonight, they've had playoff energy the last few games. The one thing about tonight, too, is yes, they lost and they didn't have the best performance. But even in the third period, I was like, they're doing it again. This is kind of what Berube has them doing this year, where they're not playing well, but they're sticking around. And I think that can work in the playoffs. Like, even when you're not on your game, even when you're not playing your best, any of the players on the team, you're not playing well, you're only losing by 1 goal, but you're in the game. Like, you're just sticking around. You're hanging around there. You get a goal, the skill will shine through. Maybe you can win it, right? Like, we'll see if it pays off in the playoffs. We'll see. But they're definitely playing more physical, which I like as well. So it's going to pay off in the playoffs, I hope. But we'll see who they play. Could be the Ottawa Senators. That would be a really fun series. I'd be looking forward to that. But exactly, President's Trophy curse. Absolutely. I hope the Leafs never win the President's Trophy. A division would be nice, right? Because they've only won 2 in their entire history, and one of them was the 2021, which doesn't count. It was the North Division or whatever it was called. But yeah, I think, and we know how that ended as well. But I think that, no, that would be a lot of fun if they were to win the division this year. And it gives Game 3 against Tampa in 2023. Liljegren over Morgan Riley is insane. That is an insane take from Sharks Digest. Actually, it's Tim Liljegren now, actually. Not Timothy Liljegren. He does go by a different name at this point. But like, they just trail by 1 and hang around. Yeah, exactly. Imagine this is a game and a 7 game. Absolutely, right? This is a regular season game. But Berube has this new stop. They've done it all season. We've seen it multiple times. They've been down by a goal. They're not having the best game. They're hanging around. They're just hanging around. And at any moment, something can happen, the game changes, right? And that's kind of what the playoffs are like. We've seen it time and time again with different teams, right? So, has Woll lost his last 2 games in a row? I can't actually remember. I think so, but he hasn't played in a while because Stolarz has gone back-to-back starts as well. So, like Morgan Riley is pretty much the sole reason that we lost tonight. I don't know if he's the sole reason. I don't like to pin a loss like this on any specific player, right? But it is a game of mistakes and inches as well. So, just win. Just win, baby. And that's right from Crankbait. But we'll wrap it up there, everyone. Have a great night. Shout out to all 31 of you who are in here right now and who tuned in to the stream at some point. We'll be back tomorrow, Nick and I, for a video. I'm sure something's going to come down in the morning. There's going to be some news. I think the lineup is going to change a little bit tomorrow too, so we'll have you updated on that. We also have a very interesting video coming up for you guys. It's either tomorrow or Thursday, so stay tuned for that. That should be a good one. Stay tuned for that. And we'll be back for another video tomorrow. We'll be back for the stream tomorrow. Nick will be back as well. We'll do some call-ins. We'll have some fun with it, even if the Leafs do lose. But I think they'll bounce back. It should be fun. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Crankbait, Prophet, Jim. I think Nick was in there, of course. Daniel, John, Daniel, again. Just looking up the chat here. Gentlemen's Club. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We love making the content for you guys. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow for another video and, of course, live stream after the game. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends untold, from first pop drop to the seasons fold.